What's up, everybody? It's Willy the Composer, and today we're going to deal with a very difficult subject: death. Now, it's likely that most of us have at some time in our life dealt with death in one way or another. Someone we love passed away. But, I know I certainly have. But it's always like a surprise, like you don't see it coming. And even if you kind of do, it's not like you get an exact date, you know what I mean? You don't know exactly when that is. So it's, so at least, your last moments with that person aren't ruined by knowing exactly when it's going to end. Well, that's how I was until quite recently. Now, in this video, I can tell you right now that I think I might know something of what that's like because I've been given a date. Not me personally, but I guess it's kind of like someone very special to me. And that date is September 28th. Which, if you're not keeping track, is in 2 days. So, it's hard to talk about. It is, but I really think I have to. I really think it's best that I tell someone about it. Let's get to it. Let me tell you what the situation is. You guys can tell me, if you've experienced something similar. If you, might know how I feel. If, just anything. Just the fact that you guys are listening is really, plenty for me. I don't need much more than that. Trade Nations is a mobile application, a game that was first released on iOS in November 2010, not long before I got my first iPhone. It may not have been the first of its kind, but it was one of the earliest and, in my opinion, the best type of sandbox game that would become very popular in the years after its release and is very popular now. What type of game am I talking about? Well, I'm sure that if you have an iPhone and you've, downloaded various games, it's likely that you've played a game like this. I'm talking anything like Age of Empires, Clash of Clans, hell, even Farmville, if you remember it. These people still play that? It's a very simple premise that you've seen all over the place. Taken from games like SimCity, back in the old days, where you basically start a town, you start with one building, you build a house, the house has workers, you put the workers to work, and they produce resources that you can then trade with your friends and build your nation, trade nations, okay? And your friends also have towns, and you can go to your friend's town and help them out with stuff. And another interesting feature that I never really hear people talk about, but I've noticed is in like a ton of mobile games, is that there's two forms of currency. We even see it in games that aren't sandbox style. You have some form of currency, whether it's dollars or gold or something like that, that's used primarily within the game, earned in the game. And then you have a secondary form of currency. For Trade Nations, it was magic beans, but it's different for every game, And that you can actually buy with real money. And when it comes to Trade Nations magic beans, I actually did. And I guess I'm unashamed to admit that I probably spent over $100 on this stupid virtual currency. But, I was a young, dumb, reckless teenager. And no, that wasn't all at once. That was spread out over years, just so you know. But yeah, they have like a secondary currency that you can earn, either by watching ads or, downloading an app, or like I said, you can just buy it. So that's one of the things like I noticed, first in Trade Nations. Now, I can't tell whether they were really the first of their kind, but they were the first app that I noticed. As a matter of fact, it was the first game of any kind, even before Solitaire, that I downloaded on my iPhone. And I played it with my friends, and we were in high school, and it was just a good old time, An online game, all the memory, everything you've ever done is on servers, right? Now, what happened? And, well, what the fuck does this have to do with what I was talking about at the beginning of the video? Trust me, we're getting there very soon. Well, over time, fads come and go. People have phases. They phase in and out of different things. And trends come and go. It happens with apps, It's like something like Angry Birds, which people still play 10 years later, and they even that they still kind of don't. That's like a huge rarity. You know what I mean? It's very rare for an app to be around more than a couple of years, with the same user base, with a consistent user base. It just doesn't happen with mobile gaming. And I'm not exactly sure why. People are a lot more faithful with traditional video games, with console and PC games. It just doesn't happen on mobile. I guess people don't care that much maybe because they're not spending as much money on them, unless you're an adult like me who buys the stupid in-app purchases. But anyways, got a little sidetracked there. But anyways, apps come and go. It's a reality. I played the game, fairly hardcore, I would say, all day, every day, every chance I could, for like a couple months. And then I would still get on it occasionally for the next year, and then the next year less and less, and then for, the last couple years, I just haven't really played it at all. Maybe just to get on once or twice out of nostalgia and see my little town and all the decorations. Man, I had everything. I wanted to beat the game. I wanted to complete the game, but it pretty much got to the point where I couldn't go any further without making even more in-app purchases, because you really do need the stupid, special currency, the magic beans, to keep going in the game. And that happens with a lot of apps. You can only go so far before they pretty much make you spend money to beat it, So that's to the point where I got, so I kind of stopped playing it for a while. But I always kept it on my phone. Every new iPhone I got, I made sure it was on there, and I never deleted it. It was my first game I ever bought. Willy, what the fuck does this have to do with what you were talking about in the beginning? I'm telling you. You might even be able to see where this is going. Now follow me here. If you look for this game, Trade Nations, on the App Store, you won't find it. And that's because they took it off the App Store. And that's not what I'm crying about. They took it off the App Store back like January 2015 or something crazy. Like it's been off the App Store for a while. Although the people who make the game, Z2, they also made Battle Nations, if you've ever heard of that. Just pretty much like a Trade Nations plus fighting kind of thing that I didn't really get into, but maybe you've heard of that one if you hadn't heard of Trade Nations. But anyways, Z2 did promise that they were going to keep the servers up as long as people were playing. And I don't think that's a promise they could keep. And that's all right. I mean, what the heck? They're business people. They can't always keep their promises, Servers are costly to maintain, especially when 99% of the information you're storing on a server will never be accessed again, because these people are not going to log back into their accounts. They're not going to keep playing the game, People have forgotten about the app, deleted the app, don't give a shit about it, because they just forget that it's on their phone, and that happened to me even, So what happened is, I guess the Trade Nations actual current player base just dwindled and dwindled and dwindled, and it just wasn't financially responsible, I guess, to keep maintaining the servers. So in July, they shut down the in-app purchases. They shut down the in-game purchases, so you can no longer spend money in Trade Nations, which means even if you were really hardcore and wanted to beat the game and you still had the app, you couldn't because, like I said, you can only go so far without buying stuff on the app. And most people ducked out there. And honestly, if I ever meet a person who knows what Trade Nations is, besides the people I played it with in high school, like a stranger or something, or if one of you guys says it, I will find you and I will give you a hug. I can't find anything out there. You search this game, there was a forum for it and everything. There hasn't been a post on it in a year. Nobody seems to give a shit. So, the in-app purchases are already gone, and the game hasn't been updated for the new iOSs and the new big screen iPhones anyways, so, part of the freaking game is cut off by the screen. It's a little dumb. But let's get to the point. Let's get to the point already. On September 28th, the day that I stated earlier, they will shut down the servers, rendering the game unplayable. And they're probably going to wipe the servers too, so, I guess no one cares. I guess I'm the last person. I guess I know what it's like to be the last man on earth, the only person that gives a fucking shit that this app that used to have, I don't know, thousands of downloads, I don't know how many. You can't find information on it anyhow. The app's been around for almost 6 years. I've had it for 5, So it's it's just kind of sad to me. This is the first time I ever had this. I don't know what it is. I've had an iPhone and I've had apps for years and they always continue to freaking work. You know what I mean? Even when Flappy Bird, remember that app? It was a whole big deal back in 2014 and everybody downloaded it. I wouldn't because I intentionally didn't download Flappy Bird because everybody else was doing it. And, I don't like to do what everybody else does. And, then I felt like a putz whenever they deleted it from the App Store. But at least you could still play it. If you have a phone with Flappy Bird on it, you can play Flappy Bird. You could not play Trade Nations as of September 28th, 2016. This app brought joy to people. People liked it. It was cute. It really was. You didn't have to worry about people coming to invade you, You didn't have to worry about that. It was all fun and games. Friendly competition. Who could build the biggest village, the biggest castle, Who could have the coolest shit, I did succeed because I stuck to it longer than everybody else. I stuck with the game longer than everybody else. So I do have the best, highest level village of all my friends. So I am proud of that, but I still wasn't close to the end game. I guess since somebody, somewhere, got enjoyment from this app, I figured somebody might as well speak its name one last time before it goes into oblivion and nobody ever fucking thinks about it ever again. Trade Nations. It was my favorite fucking game for a while. I mean, the graphics are actually fairly decent. Considering the game came out in 2010, and I can tell you that they haven't even really updated it that much since. It had a really cool look, a really cute design. And all the villagers had names. I would suggest you play the game, but if you don't have it on your phone already, you can't. So, if you are lucky enough to have it on your phone, fire it up one last time because on September 28th, you won't be able to play anymore. I know I, may have sounded silly and a little over dramatic when I was, crying and whining like somebody I knew was about to die, but, it is really weird to me. It is really shocking to me. I don't know about shocking, but it is a little strange to me that, of a game that came out 5 years ago will be rendered unplayable. I have a freaking Nintendo Entertainment System that's 30 years old, and cartridges, games that play, that are 30 years old just like the console. You could put it in a time capsule, open the shit up 10,000 years from now, and as long as you could get power to the console and hook it up to a screen, you could play the game. You know? But gone forever. It's gone forever. You know, I thought technology was supposed to be immortal. I mean, shit. They find spearheads, you know, left by indigenous people from thousands, tens of thousands of years ago. And you can tie those to a stick and use it as a hunting weapon now. But this game is like every one of us. It's freaking mortal. It's gonna die. And I know exactly when it's gonna die, so it's even worse. I never thought such a cute, little, wonderful, you know, stupid thing in my life would make me contemplate the mortal coil to such an extent, but what are you gonna do? Anyways, thanks for listening to my ramble. And you guys familiar with this kind of thing? You know, not even this app in particular, but like anything like this, where an app you have on your iPhone just becomes completely unplayable. All your hard work down the tubes. For me, it's not even just the work and time, it's the fucking money too. But I guess I'm over it, you know, whatever. Shit, I guess it'd be nice to have that $100 back, but fuck, I just spent $200 on groceries last night, so I mean, would have been gone either way. Peace and love, peace and love. Love you forever, guys. Don't fucking die. And if you do die, don't tell me when you're gonna die. Like, don't tell me the date. It's just, I just can't handle this shit. It's just too much to go through. The fucking app has less than 48 hours. And I don't know, maybe I'm the only one on Earth, who gives a shit. Okay, guys, just wanted to make this quick little video about trade nations and death and stuff like that. So if you like this video or agree with anything I said, make sure to leave a like on this video, slap a like on this video. And no kidding, this is not a scam, no lie. If you leave a like on this video, a box, that's right, a magic box will appear on your doorstep containing a freaking Pokemon. That's right, a Pokemon, no lie. So make sure to leave a like on this video. Thanks for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe. Ba 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 ba. Rock and roll!